Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ahdurin region. I'm your host, Ahdurin himself, back with another episode of the Ace Attorney series. I don't know if this is the last episode. It kind of depends on how much is left, but we're getting close to the end, at least what I can tell. Wigglytuff has some recommendations. You can follow those if you feel like it. And now, without further ado, let us get into it. Let's figure this out. What is our actual situation here? The actual crime scene itself. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Okay.
Unbelievable! The body was impaled on the armor's sword. Apparently, I've decided to be more regal today and we're going with that.
You were the only one who saw that. If you only had proof. That's not quite the line, but I get it. Actually, I do have proof. Oh, snap. We have evidence? From a witness? What? I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. Huh? What? To me? Quick! Somebody grab my bookshelf. Emma, you have anything? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you. That's a good point. Also, your voice is getting close to Maya's, so I gotta distinguish it.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture.
I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her then. Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. Cool. We got a book, right? If I scroll all the way over here, this evidence law book. Alright, let's take a look. It's a fun cover. Am I able to open it or something? Oh, I guess we can examine this. Oh! Hey, there's a picture here. Well... Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything. Okay. Mr. Wright, that piece cut out from his vest. Could that be the cloth we found inside Chief Gant's office? We're gonna flash back to that. All right. What's this? This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth. It had fingerprints on it. Whoever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. What? But those fingerprints... Emma, those are your fingerprints. They're yours. No, they're not. Nope, that's just circumstantial evidence. You know... Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer.
Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
All right, let's get into it. The actual crime scene. All right, we're gonna... You know how this works. We press everything. What? Come now, Eddie. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen.
Chief Gant,
What, now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense.
Objection!
I'm afraid it's too late for that.
What?
You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort.
This must be that risk we were talking about earlier.
Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck.
Edward! Yo! That's cold. That's cold.
Yeah.
So what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements.
What do you mean?
The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence.
Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence?
No, I don't. But someone does.
Someone.
So, what's your excuse, Righto? Huh? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death? Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt.
Is this true, Mr. Wright?
Oh boy. If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer.
Mr. Wright, if you have many more evidence, present it now. And if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries.
What do I do now? Better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? I see. Okay. Alright. This is a bad idea. I'm leaning, don't show it. Because if Gant, who is all but confirmed to be the murderer, if Gant is asking me to do this, that's not a good idea. And that's the only reason why I am not showing anything. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time.
What?
You lie.
Chief Gant,
You opened my safe.
I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence!
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together.
Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it.
What are you talking about, Chief Gant?
Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area?
it looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason.
Oh, crap.
You mean you had this in your safe?
What? That means you, the Chief of Police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. I sound younger as a result of this. The crowd doesn't like this either.
Impressive. Be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened.
What? You mean you admit to it?
I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana.
So you really were manipulating her.
I knew Lana. I made it look like the blame lay with her sister. That, when she saw the scene, she would ask. Then when she saw the scene, she would ask me for my aid.
So you assisted Miss Sky.
I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room.
And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted.
When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you.
2 pieces of evidence. You mean those items in your safe?
But why?
For insurance, of course.
Insurance.
I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed.
You mean you were calculating that far ahead when forging the evidence?
What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dear dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces.
But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar, too?
Oh. Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance.
You mean that piece of cloth?
Come on, Righto. Cough it up already. I know you have it.
What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright?
So you admit to it then, Chief Kent? That you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe?
Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murder.
Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present.
Foolish move, Righto. You should have shown it then before it was too late.
It's been a long battle. The moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. I think I have to show it now. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now.
All right, then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall.
That is a piece of cloth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest?
Oh yes, at last you finally brought it out into the open.
There's a handprint on this piece of cloth.
Your Honor, the prosecution requests that it be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather, there must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly.
You mean?
It could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence.
See, the problem is I was switching from Edward's voice to my voice.
You're as slow on the uptick as ever, Worthy.
What?
Think about it. Righto had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be?
You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that?
Mr. Wright, do you really know?
Whoever the fingerprint belongs to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they?
Very well. I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. I'm glad Phoenix understands this. I think I know where this is going. The person to whom these fingerprints belong to is Emma Skye.
Emma Skye?
What? They're mine?
I'm sorry, Emma.
But why? Why didn't you tell me?
It's all going according to cake.
You're really something, Righto. You knew this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me.
So it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death.
How could you? You monster.
Miss Skye,
You knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't.
Miss Skye, It's not over yet.
What?
I said this trial isn't over yet.
But I'm afraid it is over, boyo. Not only this trial, but your career, too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Got your tongue?
Ooh, alright, this is an anime trope that I love. I know this isn't technically an anime, but you get the gist of just one character being silent while the other characters are like, haha, you dumb, you big dumb, you loser, why aren't you saying anything? And then just, Uno reverse card them in the face.
Aren't you gonna tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer.
Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up.
Oh? And, what's that?
Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall?
What?
Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask?
It was Emma's guy, wasn't it?
I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction.
What? A contradiction. What is this fool babbling about?
I'm talking about a contradiction, one that proves who the real killer is. Crowd, I hear it just chowing on their popcorn.
Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth, what could it possibly contradict?
Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. I'm guessing it's this, because the only thing I'm thinking of is, where is it? That piece of cloth right there is just neatly cut out, no blood or nothing on it. That's what I'm betting on here.
And what exactly is this supposed to be?
This is the picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out?
Yes. His shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though.
Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs, no doubt, were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth.
Oh, but that piece of cloth. Wait, there's no blood on it. Ah!
Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time.
No, this is nonsense.
Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Let's play a game here. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside.
He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out.
If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armor's sword?
Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. Make Lana believe her sister did it.
Remember what you admitted only moments ago, that you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest. Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, you provided that you were actually the murderer. Dang, I messed up that line. You proved that you were actually the murderer.
No!
It's finally all over. Is it finally over? Nope, I didn't. Of course not.
I was close, Rhino. You almost had me.
Sorry, but you'll have to do
Better than that.
I refute your allegation.
What do you mean you refute his allegations?
You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence.
Order, order. What nonsense is this?
Oh, good. The judge is on my side, at least.
Legal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Haji? Earlier, old Righto here concealed that piece of cloth.
So then, what's your excuse, Righto? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence.
Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence.
At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence.
That's not fair.
Did you actually think you could best me in court? Looks like the last laugh's on you, son.
I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth,
True. Legal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal.
well, Mr. Wright,
It seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived.
Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposely and illegally concealed this piece of cloth?
I did not. I admit I refused to present it at one point.
So the evidence is illegal.
No, hold up. Wait a minute. Pause for a second. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant.
Huh?
It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't.
What do you mean you couldn't?
There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence.
No, Reggie, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You can't really believe.
There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not?
Very well. Let us settle this once and for all. Earlier you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now.
I think I know where this is going. Can we read this? No evidence can be shown without the approval of the police department, which it was not. And unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial, which it is. Now that we got the approval, that's where I'm banking on. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law.
What's this?
I've done my homework too, Chief. Yeah, did that for once. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more.
What?
You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law.
Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department.
I found this piece of evidence myself, inside of your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department.
Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial.
And here is the crux of the matter. You see, at the time, it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident.
What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and...
Sorry, but can you recall when was that picture presented?
That was shown only a few moments ago.
No. He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless.
The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant.
You yourself confessed to a certain truth.
Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut this out. Oh, yeah, totally. I did that, yeah. My man, you played yourself.
No.
It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth.
I might have hit my mic just then. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there's only one person who that could be. Damon Gant, the killer was you!
No.
Etc., etc., etc. I can't laugh this much. Insert evil laugh and stuff like that.
I knew I should have gotten rid of him.
That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty.
He wanted to reinvestigate the case.
He recruited Angel Starr, then convinced Bruce Goodman.
Detective Goodman.
Yeah, that's right.
The evidence.
The evidence is transferred. I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you gotta help me.
Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit.
He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence.
Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room, and all of a sudden he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman?
Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? You can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered.
He opened his evidence locker. As he was taking the evidence out, he said,
It's not too late. I'm gonna hand all this over to Marshall.
I don't know if that's Goodman's voice, we're just gonna roll with it. Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback at his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it. That accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out.
Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime.
Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor I didn't realize my fatal mistake.
The bloody handprint on Detective Goodman's locker, Gumshoe's locker.
I used to be known as the crime computer. But everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it.
Then you put the body in my car.
I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will.
Yeah.
Leaving the prosecution's car aside.
Edward, hold on.
How? How could you get Miss Sky involved in all of this?
Well, she had much to lose decided. The truth came out.
So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker.
Felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take.
So, you left the jar fragments in the glove.
Yeah. Looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. Got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay.
Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon a close examination. You must have known that.
Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court?
Me?
You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Urgy.
What?
Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend.
I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be. Long ago. You were once a fine investigator, and an example to others on the force. Sorry to learn that you are no longer that person.
Those days are gone now, OG. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Righto here. And Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sound of a new beginning.
There are two things I want you to understand. Oh, this is me. There are two things I want you to understand.
Yes?
First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent.
You're right. When this trial's over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done to these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until today.
So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered.
I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble.
My, what high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you just might make it to the top. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright.
Miss Sky,
And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you.
it was nothing. Liar. I could see it.
I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth.
Stop. I only did my job. Gosh, don't give me these compliments. Jeez.
In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Sky,
Yes, Your Honor?
you are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is, you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date.
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling?
It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains.
Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, not guilty.
Oh, man, has it been a while since I've heard those words.
That's all. This court is adjourned. Whew.
Oh my gosh, I need a breather, everyone. Jeez.
February 25th, 5:03 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 2.
At long last, it's finally over. Phoenix, pull out the drinks. It's time to celebrate. Never mind, Emma's distraught. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit.
No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended.
See why Mia thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks. And to you, Mr. Edgeworth, you've suffered, you've done well. We just saw this. We don't have to flashback immediately.
You know, I did my best too. But Lana didn't say a single word to me.
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals.
Gumshoe, my man, do you not see the picture?
Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later.
Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? Come on, what's up?
You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run around while on duty? And to top it off, you call me here? I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding.
Oh, are you here because of my sister again?
Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal.
Me?
That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone.
You'd like to see someone. Yeah.
Lana.
Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know.
Well, I won't tell if you won't.
Gumshoe, my man. One time we're on the same page.
Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago. It was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis, I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake. But now, I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew.
But sis, you were only doing it for me.
No.
Huh?
I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you.
Sis.
I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry.
But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now.
You're happy?
Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have.
Oh, Emma.
Aw, that's adorable. No one can change the past. Oh, Phoenix has a message at the end of the day? Alright, let's do this. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it's from there that we can move on towards a brighter future. At least that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up.
Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe,
Me?
thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth?
Edward?
Stop hiding and come on over here.
Edward's just walking in with his like grouchy face. Where were you hiding?
I just came to say congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth.
Right. Well, I'll be going now. What the? You just leaving?
Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptedly, not you.
It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my mistakes.
Edgeworth, I just had a whole monologue about how we can correct our mistakes.
Mr. Edgeworth,
Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Kent was right.
You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me were the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man.
You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you go it alone. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor.
Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright.
Hey, how you doing?
And because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright?
Huh? What? Yeah. What was this, a pop quiz?
Come on, Mr. Wright. Show him what Lana's talking about.
Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. Oh, is it this? Because we had half and Edgeworth had half? Is this it?
That's the picture I drew.
Our counterattack began with this. Oh, it did, I guess. You had one half of the evidence list, and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture.
That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edward.
It's time for me to go.
Mr. Edgeworth,
If you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor.
Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember. You can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you.
I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, Mr. Wright. Why am I calling you Mr. Wright? What I face now is my problem.
Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court.
Farewell.
I'd better be going too.
Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon.
Since we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you.
Scientific investigation.
It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well.
Thanks, sis. I will.
And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself.
Well, don't go tricking off just yet, pal.
What? What is it now, Detective Gumtree?
There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this.
But I thought you said it was okay.
Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but
The folks at the prison are a different story. Gumtree, did you break Emma out of prison, or is Lana out of prison?
basically I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either.
Huh?
Way to go, Detective. I didn't know you had a wild side.
Yeah, well, you see, this right here is the one who'll be footing the bill.
Huh? Huh?
What, you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal.
Huh? Nah?
Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best.
Why is it? Suddenly feel like I want to scream.
Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we go all pay it off together?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go.
Oh, objection's there. I want to. Objection. I don't know. Can I yell? Is it possible for me to yell it in? Hold up. I have to say the way that I'm playing this doesn't really work. Objection. Objection. There we go. And the pictures. Hey, there we go. The credits. That ends. Oh, there's more stuff.
I arranged for a friend of mine to take care of Yudlana. I hope she'd be pleased to stop at her study under top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then, I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma.
Are we gonna go through the credits? This is fun. What a game. That is the end of the Ace Attorney series. Yikes, I thought I was gone for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized chief investigation office, blah, blah, blah. If we penalized you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show you can't shake me off that easy. Ah, there we go. I knew there would be something like this. I guess there would have been a picture of Lana previously. That was exciting. That was the end of the game. What a game it has been. A great run, multiple years in the making and everything. And finally getting through it. I mean, My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them, though. Someday I'm gonna make detective. Yes, sir. Then I can be just like that Dick Gumshoe. Of course, Gumshoe is the guy that you want to look for. Oh, I wish I got the Lana picture down. Oh, man, what a game this was. What's it? A lot of questions that we could ask about this. Of course, I'm gonna keep going throughout the entire credits and everything. But what a game this was. Is the Blue Badger's gonna talk? Is the Badger gonna talk to us? Badger's not gonna talk to us about anything? Nothing at all? No? Just leave be. Oh, the Badger's gonna break. That's perfect. Great. Now I'm excited to find out what the rest of them are. The Gumshoe one was a profile, so I'm guessing the Lana one's a profile. I'm glad we got that, and I'm glad that one's probably not the big one that I'd be worried about missing. What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with a steak lunch partner? Miss Star managed to sneak this into me. She's seeing one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. Even gave Bambino back here smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water? Oh, man. This is exciting. For one thing, I finished an Ace Attorney game, which in and of itself is a minor accomplishment. Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu, the Right Way Lunch. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. Can't seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. Yeah, that's a good point. Probably shouldn't do that. But while we're waiting for the rest of the credits to go through, what was your favorite case of the 5 cases in this game? Of the, the introduction one, the second, third, fourth, and this one being the 5th one. What was your favorite case? I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Oh shoot, is that my name? Mr. Left. Anyway, he said he's been doing something or other for how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I better be... Huh? Oh no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, got to go. Oh, how exciting. Oh, man. It's fun to go through this. With the series over, I'm kind of wondering where to go next. I could go with the next game immediately. Maybe do some other side series, a smaller game, because how I've broken this up. Oh my gosh, it's Maya.
Ah, nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objections. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium.
Mystic Maya, afternoon training is about to begin.
Coming. Well, see you around, Nick.
Yoink. Do we visit Maya? Awesome. Who's your favorite character? Yeah, let's just answer all the questions. What's your favorite case? Who's your favorite character in this game? Etc, etc, etc. I don't know. Favorite villains? How do you think some of these villains went? There's always some cases that are better, more expansive. I've actually finished the game now. It's shocking because you may know that this is my second run through of the game. I went through the majority of the first game. Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth? I brought you your tea. Huh? What's going on? What's happening here? Oh, I didn't get the full Edgeworth image. But that's probably, Edgeworth bouncing. He has retired. Or has he? I actually know the answer. And without spoiling it for the next game, it's an interesting way of doing this. Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, though, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Oh, do we get to open the book? I think we go to the back to open it. What's inside the envelope? Aw, it's baby versions. And that ends it. We have completed Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, the original game. After so many episodes, we're finally done. And we go back to the beginning of the Ace Attorney trilogy here. Did we get all the images? No, we're gonna go back here. That's where we're gonna end this here. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening, watching, and supporting in any way, shape, or form that you do. And until next time, everyone, take care.